Plants vary wildly across the globe, from tiny wildflowers to towering redwoods. But all of these flowering plants have one thing in common. They all started as seedlings. Seedlings are very different from the plants that they'll ultimately become. They emerge vulnerable, desperate for resources, and desperate to survive. Today, I'm going to be talking about the anatomy and growth of a seedling and the things that they do to survive or not to become a mature plant. A seedling is composed of three basic parts: the root, the stem, and the leaves. But those one or two leaves aren't actually true leaves, and all of those parts have their own names specific to a seedling. That first embryonic root is called the radicle, the stem is called the hypocotyl, and the tiny leaves are called cotyledons. But that seedling doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from a seed, produced by a parent plant in the hopes of creating mature offspring. Seeds are usually produced by the hundreds or thousands in order to increase the chance that at least one of them will survive and carry on the genetic line of the parent plant. The first decision that seed must make is the decision to germinate or start growing. Once it does this, it can't move, so it's pretty much committed to where it is. Now that seed consists of an embryo as well as some food inside of that seed, all contained within a seed coat. Seeds rely on environmental triggers to be able to tell when it's time to germinate. Some sense light, others even need to pass through the gut of an animal in order to know it's time to grow. But once that environmental trigger has happened, that seed absorbs water in order to bust out of that protective seed coat. It sticks out that first root, the radicle, which anchors it into the ground, and the hypocotyl grows upwards towards light. Those cotyledons expand, allowing photosynthesis to start. Those cotyledons won't be there for long, however. If that little seedling finds the resources it needs, it'll start putting out primary leaves, more mature leaves, and the cotyledons will die back because they're not needed anymore. As a side note, flowering plants fall into two different camps: eudicots and dicots. Eudicots only have one cotyledon and dicots have two. The easy way to remember this is dicots have di for two, so two cotyledons. Once that seedling starts putting out those true leaves, it needs to hope it can get water, sunlight, nutrient-rich soil, and compete with things like weather, predators, and other disasters. There are so many things working against that seedling that any that do survive are pretty much a miracle. This short video was heavily inspired by the book Lab Girl by Jahren, which I discussed in a video a few weeks ago. Hope discusses at length and very eloquently seedlings and the way she views the forests and how much of a miracle it is that we have the trees we do when there's so much working against seedlings. I definitely suggest you check out that book because it's really fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support Brilliant Botany, you can buy some merch over on Redbubble or become a monthly supporter on Patreon. We're actually having our first Google Hangout tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to join us, become a patron before then, and you'll find the link to the Google Hangout on your patron feed on Patreon. I also wanted to let you folks know that I'm going to VidCon at the end of June. I'm super excited to meet community members and creators and go to a bunch of awesome panels. If you're going to be there, please let me know in the comments or over on Twitter. I'd love to meet you. A special thank you to my Patreon supporters who are helping Brilliant Botany grow. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for a new video every Wednesday. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, I got a haircut.